This program is intended for mature audiences. Parental discretion is advised.
Hey, how's it going everybody? Ivan here from the Vanz Cliff channel. Welcome to another video. If you're new to this channel, I'm glad that you're here. And on this channel, I usually talk about action figures such as Star Wars, Marvel, or anything that I like. I do toy hunting, toy vlogs, toy haul unboxing, and for today, we're going to be doing a toy review. If this is something that you enjoy, consider subscribing to the channel and hit the bell so you won't miss anything. When doing reviews, rather than just looking at the good things, I also evaluate the negative things that can be seen in an action figure. And by doing this, it will allow me to show you guys if these flaws are something that you can live with, and so that you guys will know what you're paying for, because it's always been a passion of mine to spark interest in toy collecting by giving tips and smarter ways to collect through online video. So make sure to stick till the end of this video, because I will be discussing about accessories, aesthetics, and articulation coming up. Big Bad Toy Store has a massive selection of toys like action figures, statues, and a lot of geek stuff. So make sure to buy your toys at Big Bad Toy Store. I put a link in the description down below, so go check them out. Once again, thank you for joining us on another episode of Who's That Fig? And for today's episode, we're having a look at Star Wars The Black Series Clone Commander Gree, also known as CC1004. So let's have a quick look at the packaging. In front of the box, starting from the bottom, you'll see Hasbro's logo, a warning sign, Clone Commander Gree, an image, and the Star Wars Black Series logo. At the right side of the box, you'll see Commander Gree in red and in watermark background. At the left side of the box, you'll see a barcode, Commander Gree, and an item code. At the back of the box, starting from the bottom, you'll see Hasbro and Disney's logo, attention in different languages, Star Wars The Black Series logo, an image, and an introduction, which I'm gonna zoom in for you guys to read. Alright, so let's take this figure out of the packaging and take a closer look. Alright, so out of the box, here's how the figure looks. And it came with 3 accessories. And the figure stands... that's about 6¼ inches, and that's almost 160 centimeters. And the accessories, a small blaster, as you can see, it is painted in pure gray, kind of dark gray. There's no paint details, only sculpt. It's purely sculpt right here. Same goes for the longer blaster. It's purely dark gray paint. Only sculpt details is what we have on these accessories. But as for the binoculars, which is the third accessory, we do have some satin black finish in here, and there's also white and a gray finish, which is awesome. It's a good looking binoculars right there. And as for the figure itself, I'll be honest with you, for me this is the best looking clone Commander. I do love the colors on Commander Gree. And the helmet, we do have like a light green color in there. There's also some dark green and some metallic silver. This is just nice clean paint app. You can see some matte green, the shoulder armor, and there's also some chip paint, nicely painted camouflage in there. You can also see some weathering effect. The chest armor itself, you'll see some combination of light green, dark green, silver. The boots is colored kind of dark green. This figure is just loaded with paint everywhere, which is awesome. As for the articulation, this is where the problem starts. The head, let me just remove this. Alright, so the head is in a hinge and ball joint. And although this figure is in a ball joint, there's no motion, not even a side to side. So basically what it can do is just to rotate 360. And the problem with this is the ball peg is too deep into the head sculpt. I'm gonna give you a good example of a ball joint. If you guys notice, the Clone Commander does have a side to side, and it does have a good motion onto the head. And the reason for that is because the ball joint is not deeply inside the head, where half of the ball is inside the head sculpt and half of it is outside, giving you the motion. So let me remove the head here once again so that I can definitely show you. If you're gonna put the ball peg like this, it will have space to move like this. It'll give you the motion, but that's definitely not the case in this figure. I don't like how they executed the ball peg and the ball joint. Alright, so no motion right here. Next would be the shoulders. Since they did use a hard plastic material on the shoulder armor, you basically cannot raise this up. So this is as far as it can get. I'm going to give you guys a better example. They were actually able to do it with the Sith Trooper. As you can see, this is too soft. The shoulder armor is a rubbery material. If you raise this up, there's no problem at all. And I wish they could have used the same material on this figure. So that's for the shoulders. Okay, we do have a bicep swivel in here because they did use a double hinge elbows. And the problem, again, we're experiencing another problem. There's not much range into it, and it looks like you're just using a single hinge. And the problem with the design, because of this disc, if you try to fold it, the armor is just hitting it. I like the fact that they did use some elbow armor to cover that gap, but because of this design, you basically cannot maximize the double hinge onto its full extent. And as for the wrist, we do have a horizontal hinge. They should have used a vertical instead, since we do have rifles, and a swivel for the left wrist. And as for the right, we do have a vertical hinge. And one thing that I noticed with the design, the arms are too long. Right, look at the wrist is already in line with the crotch area. As for the torso, we do have a diaphragm joint. There's not much range, but the motion is there. I do really think we do have a ball joint in here. I'm just not sure if it's a double ball joint or just a single one, but the motion is there. We don't have that much range because of the design of the armor on the side is basically hitting the belt. All right, but the motion is there. And it leans a little bit forward, actually not that much, and backward a little bit, because if you lean it backwards, this is basically hitting the belt as well, so you won't get that much range in there. As for the legs, we do have a bull and a socket. It cannot do a T-split, it can only do a Y split, and let me see if it can do a Spartan kick. And not that much, and if you extend it too much, it's gonna be in an awkward look. So it can basically just kick forward like this, and backward not that much as well. Okay, we do have a tie swivel because we do have a double hinge knees, and again, the design of this, just to cover the gap on the knees, there's this disc. I'm not really sure why they designed this with the disc in the middle. If you try to bend this, it's gonna hit it. I mean, you have that range, but not that much. It won't be in a full extent. So that's how it looks. Okay, we do have ankle rocker. Ankle rocker works fine. And okay, that's kind of stiff, but we do have a hinge in the ball, and that's pretty much the range. Try to bring it down. No, it might break, so I'm not gonna force it too much. So here's how it scales with some of the Black Series figures. Alright, so the final verdict. Well, the camouflage paint app really makes the figure stand out among all of the clone trooper commanders, but there's definitely a lot of issues with the figure. And if you notice, the body proportion doesn't match. Let me show it to you guys. The figure does have long legs, right? And as well as the arms are kind of long as well. If you guys noticed, the wrist and the crotch area is in line. And the right proportion is the thumb knuckle should be the one in line with the crotch area. It does have a long arms, and I do really think that it's because of this disc. And the legs are kind of long as well. You'll notice the torso is a little bit short. They could have done better. Like I've said, in order for the future clone troopers to work well, they should work on the ball joint. It shouldn't be too deep. Half of the ball should be inside the peg, and half of it should be outside, so that the head will have space to move. The shoulder armor as well, they have to make this a plastic rubbery material so that it won't affect the shoulder articulation. And it also sucks that it does have the accessories, but there's basically no holster for you to put in the blasters if you're not using it. Score for articulation, I'm gonna give it a 4. Alright, for the aesthetics, I'll give it an 8. Accessories, I'll give it an 8 as well. And the final score for this figure is a 7. Alright, so I think that's it. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and if you already did, hit the notification bell so that you'll be updated with future videos. And again, I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.